Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk Radio, coming to you from WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. And we have a really good program for you today, and we thank you for joining us on Facebook, on your TuneIn app, or the WGHC 98.3 FM app on iOS, Apple. And today we have some visitors joining us who will be introducing themselves shortly, but you're listening to Mazi Oke Okachuku
and Mazi Ejike Obasi.
And in the studio with us are two of our holy sisters from the Daughters of Divine Love, and they are
Sister Miriam Therese Ezike
and Sister Mary Pamela Eke.
And these wonderful visitors will be joining us today for an interview. I'll give it to my co-host to do the honors of the introduction.
Yes, we're very, very happy to have the Daughters of Divine Love with us today. Before we start our conversation, a little bit of background. The Daughters of Divine Love is a Catholic organization that was actually formed in 1969 in eastern Nigeria. And for those of you who know the history, this was at the time of the Biafran War. And this was formed by the late Bishop Okoye, who was a Catholic bishop of Igbo extraction. And this order was formed to carry out charitable work, primarily in the Biafran enclave, where there was a lot of need. After the end of the Civil War, the order did not die. To the contrary, they grew and expanded. Today, they are present in 17 different countries beyond Nigeria and have continued to carry out their work of mercy and, I shall say, divine work to the populace around the place. They are in many countries in South America, including Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba. In fact, I think it's important to note that after the earthquake that devastated Cuba, their mission in Port-au-Prince, Cuba, was very instrumental in bringing relief through their school and dispensary in parts of Cuba that were very badly affected.
You mean Haiti?
Haiti, I'm sorry. In Haiti, I'm sorry, not Cuba. In Haiti. And so here in the Chicagoland area, they have a very strong chapter. They continue to do mission work. And we thought it would be nice to bring them in today to have a discussion with regards to what it is they do and how through them the Catholic mission helps humanity. So back to you, okay?
So thank you, our sisters. And I will ask you now to help us. We've heard Mazi Obasi tell us about you. So in a short few words, how would you introduce yourself? If you're talking to somebody and they want to know what the Daughters of Divine Love do, what is that?
Daughters of Divine Love congregation, like he said, was founded to take care of people in need. And we are in different parts of the world, in Europe, in America, in Africa, in South America. We serve the poorest of the poor. We go to where there is need to manifest divine love, to translate love into action by feeding those who cannot feed themselves, providing educational services to those who cannot afford to go to school because of lack of money, to provide clothing for children and families that cannot afford this for themselves. We also build some houses for people who live, who are almost homeless. We provide hospital, clinics, and health care services for people who cannot get it for themselves in different parts of the world.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So now in Chicago, where your chapter is, could you tell us what you're doing specifically in the city of Chicago?
Here in Chicago, That's our regional
Headquarters.
headquarter
Yes.
in America, for America. And when we say of America, we mean United States and even the South America. So our ministry here vary because some of our sisters are working in hospitals, in schools, in parishes, and some of the sisters have the job, the function of providing means for the ministries we do amongst the very poor. So here in Chicago, we organize to raise funds for our sisters in Haiti, in Cuba, in Jamaica, and in African countries.
Mazi Obasi, any questions?
Before we get to questions, I want to give a personal testimony because a very good friend of mine actually did go on a medical mission to Haiti with the Daughters of Divine Love. And when he came back, he had nothing but wonderful things to talk about the humility with which these sisters have carried out truly their calling of providing love and using actionable items, not just they talk the talk and they walk the walk. But so let me ask you, sisters, we know that especially here in America, everything comes back to dollars and cents.
Yeah.
How are we raising enough funds to continue our mission?
Okay, let's Sister Pamela say something about it.
Okay.
Well, I would say that because of the need, no fund raised has been enough
Okay.
because the needs for it are so vast. Though annually we organize a fundraising event which we shall be having in less than 2 weeks. We call our annual benefit luncheon. And we organize this to enable us raise some funds for our missions, especially in African countries like we have mentioned here. And we sell tickets, we solicit for ads and donations from friends who are interested in what the Daughters of Divine Love are doing. And from there we get some money. Also, some dioceses invite us for mission appeal. We go talk to them, tell them what we are doing and how much needs there are out there. And Americans have been very generous. Yeah, a lot. We get some fund, and by that we've been able to carry on with our different ministries in African countries.
And also in Haiti and Jamaica and Cuba. And
Yeah.
this year, like she said, on the 5th of May at Belvedere Chateau in Palos Hill, we are going to have the luncheon. We are going to have lunch. We're inviting everybody to please come to join us in raising this money. $50 ticket for one adult, $25 for children of 12 years or under. People do not always come because they have time, but because they want to team up with us in order to raise the money. So we are requesting everybody to please come in one way or the other, physically, or send us some donations to enable us continue the ministry we are going to do. It is at Belvedere Chateau at
Palos Hill.
Palos Hill.
Palos Hills.
So the date is...
We open our gate that day to the public by 11 a.m. By 3:30 p.m. we are ready to leave the place. Again, the ticket is only $50 for adults, and then $25 for children 12 and under. You come there, you eat good food they provide in that place, you observe the sisters dancing, you see a lot of activities going on. You come the first time, I'm telling you, you will never like to miss it again. So please, be there.
So the luncheon, like you said, is on Saturday, the 5th of May.
Yes.
At the Belvedere Chateau in Palos Hills,
Yes.
and doors open at 11.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we learned about the fundraising, could you talk about one of the projects that, I mean,
The
what?
sister. Well, I think let's look at it. Well, let's look at it. This first of all, where are we active in the Chicagoland area? So then we can move outside. Since we're all, this is a Chicago program.
That's right.
Sister, what are the projects you have for in Chicago? You know, the sisters. What are they involved in?
Our sisters in Chicago, like I mentioned before, some of them are ministering in hospitals
Yes.
and in schools and in parishes.
Yes.
And then those of us that are charged with raising the funds, we are involved. One of the ways we get involved with the people's activities in Chicago is that when we look out and find somebody in need, we go there to help that person.
Yes.
We do go to help somebody who needs help to go out for activities outside and have nobody to take care of their children, young children. We do go to do that. Or when somebody is sick in the hospital, we do go to help that person. And then we attend activities, charitable activities that are going on here in Chicago. And
Yeah,
Sister
we
Karen.
also
Yes.
have some of our sisters who are caregivers. They go to homes, take care of the elderly and possibly the sick. We also, from time to time, go to parishes, talk to the children, the youths, concerning religious matters and moral life and social life, telling them what they should know and what is expected of them as growing young people who are growing up.
So all these services, how much does it cost the people that you give the services to?
Well, we don't really charge them for this.
I knew
Yes.
that answer was trying to get
Yeah.
So these
The
are
point
all
that
free
we
We don't,
services.
yes,
that,
we don't really
services.
charge them.
that's what
Well,
you're raising
yeah.
the money for, so you could continue to do this free.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it is very interesting because for those of us, the immigrant community, if you look at the third, fourth, fifth to nth generation Americans,
Yeah.
they have their structures. They go for counseling. They have, you know, every time there's a shooting, counselors are there counseling. You have institutions in America to cater for the emotional needs. A lot of immigrant communities are not embedded enough to be able to use these institutions.
And sometimes it's not that they do not know that it exists, it's just that it wasn't in the culture they came
It's
from.
not in the culture. And for, you know, especially for the African community, the church has always been a bedrock.
Yes.
We all know that the local parish, the parish priest, the sisters, this is your community. They provide counseling, they
Exactly.
provide advice.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, of course, again, women affairs, the sisters are always there playing a role. In fact, I did not know that the sister na-agba egwu Igbo. Shall I say I was very pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, so can we speak a little bit to how do you see your role, maybe right now, or what you would like to do for let's start with the Nigerian communities, Igbo community in Chicago and the rest of the Americas. How do you plug in? Do you see, do some of families come to you for counseling?
I know few had done that,
Okay.
and we were able to render the services.
Yes.
Yes, and I also know that when we started Igbo lesson classes,
Yes,
for
Igbo
children,
schools.
Igbo
Yes,
children,
Igbo language
and
courses.
then
Absolutely.
we did that, and it worked well.
Yes.
And yeah, and more so, our presence in their midst does a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes, you could be in a gathering and you see someone who say, "Hey, sister Nokweba,"
Better shape up.
You better shape up. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There are nonsense to be with.
Because that means the Lord is looking closely.
Honestly. Yeah.
You know, a while back, it's been a few years now, in Staunton, Virginia,
Yes.
there was a call that was sent out to the Igbo community to come and help build
The Igbo village.
the Igbo village.
Yes,
And I want to also say that the sisters played a very big role
yes, I was.
in going there. In fact, Sister Miriam, Muneso Zaja. That's how far back we go.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, yes, you guys, you are really embedded in this community, and you have done a lot for the community. So, do you have an idea of, okay, let us say, if you had your wish, what would your annual budget be? Assuming Bill Gates walked in today with his checkbook and said, "Sister,
Yes.
how much will it take to run your program for 1 year?"
I will say to him, "Hey, please, if you can give us $10 million, I will bring you the report of how it is well used in different parts of the world, in Haiti, in Jamaica, in Cuba, Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Kenya, Chad. I will tell you a good report of how this money is used and how it affects people's life, how it has made a difference in so many people's lives, giving children, women, and families opportunity to live virtually normal life with that money."
Okay.
And like I said earlier, there are so much to be done. So much to be done that no amount will be so much.
Okay.
So you're saying
Oh, you want more than 10 million. That the $10 million.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, no amount will be so much. Yeah, because the need is so vast.
Yeah, so
Yes.
our other co-host has joined us by phone. Mazio Delega Kenendibai.
Okay.
There was Sister Mama no.
They were
Adema.
Good.
Yes. I mean, this is quite a pleasure for you guys to join us on a Straight Talk Radio, because one of the things that I think your mission and ministry have highlighted is the value that Igbo are bringing to the global community. Because I think one of the things that can be said of the Daughters of Divine Love, that it's actually the largest organization started by Igbo that has a global outreach. You know, we look at all the great countries where your members have had the privilege of serving. But I must say, too, that it does appear that you guys choose your sites a little bit strategically, because I see most of the places you are in the Caribbean are places where the African part of the Igbo diaspora, those of our brethren that left many years ago, and it's quite commendable to see you serving them in Jamaica, in Cuba, in Haiti, you know, and all in Japan, you know, and even the Cameroon. So that is quite commendable. And anybody who gives to your mission or supports your mission is actually a part of the great mission. And my wife and I were just talking about it. I remember when one of your members came to assist us when my wife had a baby, and it was a premature. Actually, our last daughter was born premature, and that was quite tough. And we received your love and your assistance, which we are forever grateful. So keep up what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes. It is important also to note that we speak about the sisters and the Igbo community. But KK raised a very vital point here that the Daughters of Divine Love are really an international organization.
Yes, it is.
It is in virtually every continent. They have chapters all across Africa, in the Caribbean, and of course in many parts of the United States.
That's right.
It is therefore also, when we talk about trying to support their mission, I think that support has to be as international as the organization itself is.
Yes.
So I am calling on all our brothers and sisters from across the globe where the daughters are present to come out and support them. And if they are not in your place yet, they plan to come. So come out and support them too. Because I truly believe with funding and community support, the best is yet to come. Yes.
And we have a website.
Aha, you were going to answer before I asked. Go
ahead. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, we have a Facebook page. We also have a website where anyone can reach us, no matter where you are. You understand? And we also have a donate button. If you go to our website and see that what we are doing, it's a nice one, we need you to encourage us by making a little donation.
Could you tell us the website?
The website is ddldev.org.
www.ddldev.com.
Yes.
So go to www.ddldev.com and make your donations. Is it .com or .org? .org.
Yes.
ddldev.org.
Yes.
And you find the donate button, click on it, and go from there. I'm pretty sure it will take credit cards if you have them.
Yeah, sure.
So, sisters, why are you people monopolizing all this love? Can men join?
Yes.
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 Currently,
Okay.
when Bishop Okoye was alive,
Yes.
after starting the Congregation for Women, he was trying to start a congregation for men before he died.
Okay.
He never did it, but that did not die from our hearts. Today, Daughters of Divine Love has revived that, and we have the Sons of Divine Love. Just a congregation just coming up. They've had their first profession of 4 young men.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
I actually cracked it as a joke, but
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear.
We have their pictures in our website too.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
So, could we talk about one of the international projects? We've talked about the local ones in Chicago.
Yes.
Could you give us a taste of what happens internationally? Use an example, any example that you could think of.
Okay. Let me use. Let me use not only one.
Okay.
Let me just.
We
use
got
two.
time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when you check our flyer, you see a group of women. This is in Abakaliki area. This place, they just have dirty water, no good water to drink, and no way to get good water. For them, water was like searching for diamonds somewhere.
Okay.
Therefore, we here try to get help for them so that even when they get this water and it's dirty, they will be able to make it into good drinking water. We buy the gadgets, bucket and the filter and whatever it takes to make it
potable. Yes,
and that is one of the projects we do.
So for those who don't know the names, Abakaliki is a place in the southeastern part of Nigeria, actually Ebonyi State.
Yes.
Let me take another example in Kenya.
Okay.
In Kenya, we have clinics where we try to help people, and none of our clinics is in a city. It is in the suburb where people cannot afford to go to city hospitals or go somewhere, but they are just within the area. So our sisters are able to help them, especially women, pregnant women, those who will say, no, I'm not going to hospital. Why? Because they can't afford it.
Yes.
So our sisters are able to call such people and give them the care they need through their pregnancy, and then take care of the children by providing food and things like that from time to time. And there again, there is a culture in Kenya that children are not circumcised in some
parts
communities.
of Kenya. Yes.
So they are circumcised as teenagers.
Yes.
So during that time, it's very joyous things for them, but there is that fear of getting contaminated by doing it in the stream area. They want to go. So our sisters join the group that encourage them to come and do it in the hospital so they will be taken care of. It's not easy to go about, but they do. Sometimes they have up to 100 young people that will circumcise from their area in a particular year. And then the sisters do a lot to help them come together, educate them, and enable them to get these things done properly in a hospital area. Some of them cannot go because they also need some money for the hospital, so sisters try to take care of that. We get money from here, we support them to be able to do that.
So part of the funds you're raising is to be able to support programs where you actually do pay for these visits to the hospitals.
Yes.
And I'd like to point out that in my perspective, that is really the concept of working within a culture.
Yes.
They have not gone in there to preach,
Right.
to condemn, to carry your holier than thou attitude, which you see so often among the Western world. They have studied the culture of the people and have made small changes that cut down infection, create sanitary processes without changing the culture, and it's a win-win-win for everybody. And that, Amami Hibo.
Okay. Mazio Delga.
Yeah. And in Heifi too, we have a similar project, clinic also, where we take care of especially the less fortunate, those who cannot afford to pay their hospital bills. They come and the sisters take care of their medical bills, make sure they get well and go back to their, responsibilities. We also have a school, though the school doesn't belong to Daughters of Divine Love, but we run the school for the church, for the missions, and we try to make sure that the kids there, even those who cannot afford the bills, are given scholarship to educate them. We know that a child without education has no future. And not just that, the sisters try to feed these kids. They have about 450 children in that school, and 3 times a week the sisters give them lunch. And this also entices the children to come to school.
Yes. Mazio Deluga, did you want to say something?
Oh, yes. No, I was also trying to bring out the point that male circumcision in cultures like where they're involved has become even more crucial in light of the HIV epidemic. it's been shown that circumcised men
cuts down, yes.
Cuts down the transmission of HIV. So that is a great public health mission, and especially making sure that it's done under sanitary conditions, and also the fact that this is something that has been recognized by World Health Organization as a tool to fight HIV, especially Africa. That is really commendable. I wanted to ask the question about this in terms of your mission. Are there areas of focus for you, or the daughters will always do what is needed in any community they find themselves, or is there a particular focus for your apostolic mission?
For when Bishop Okoye founded our congregation, he told us that some congregations are known for hospital ministry, others are known for school, others are known for orphanages, but for us, it is going to be everything. You go where there is need to manifest divine love. Therefore, we do not have, as a congregation, only a focus for any particular ministry. We go wherever there is need, we go there. So when we come into a culture, if theirs is that they need people to teach them about God, we go ahead with that. If it is they need people to help them know what to do about hunger, then we go into helping them to
poverty alleviation, yes,
whatever. So we do not have any special focus.
And I want to add that our ministry is based on love of God, shown through love and service to neighbor.
Okay. Wonderful. I wanted to ask, because that is actually a very great vision. Now, can you elaborate more about your founding? I understand that EDL was founded in a refugee camp during the Nigerian Biafra War. Can you speak to that? Why was it necessary to find an order in the midst of crisis when the people were not really settled about their livelihood or the safety of their own life and property? There was so much disruption within the culture, and now, how did DDL really, what necessitated the birth of this, your organization?
Okay, it was during the war. People that lived in other places came back home. The whole place were filled, and then every time there is a fight, and people were not really settled. But then there are some young girls that have said that they wanted to join convent, but because of the war, they couldn't. I remember personally, I went to one of the convents at the end of my primary school, and they told me, now the war is on, so you wait. After the war, you come. Nobody knew how after the war will be. But then, Bishop Okoye met a few of these girls, some from Neni, some from Bise. He gathered them and found people to help him to take care of them. That's how it started. And he had no place because he himself was in Port Harcourt as the Bishop of Port Harcourt. So he left the area because of the war and was in Ihioma. So while in Ihioma, it's not his place, but he's there as a refugee. And then when he got these girls, he sent them to Ukpo in a parish that has a house that will accommodate them. So the whole thing took off from there. Then the other young people that wanted to join came there, and that's it. So it was in a refugee camp. Yeah. He never owned anything. After when the war ended, he was then transferred to Enugu as the Bishop of Enugu.
Yes.
Still, we still lived in other people's property until he was able to raise, to get a land at Abapanike, raise a house, and then
house the sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yes. You know, let me just. Sometimes big things happen and we kind of overlook them. Because in the world we live today, where everybody and their brother carries religion on the forehead, screaming and shouting to see the loudest to be close to God, or to, like the Pharisees. The role of the Catholic Church in eastern Nigeria during 1967 to 1970, the period of the Biafran War, I hope one day somebody is going to take a step back and really see what it means to devote yourself to your congregation. Because let us start with the Irish priests that were in Biafra, that refused to leave.
Instrumental in starting the AIDS
that
program.
refused to leave. They went out, they solicited funds, they stayed with their congregation. Much of the relief that was given to starving children came through the Catholic charities. At the end of the Civil War, a lot of these Irish priests were detained, some of them tortured, and all of them unceremoniously kicked out of Nigeria because the war had ended and Biafra was again reabsorbed into Nigeria. No official recognition for the love they had for their congregation. Now we look at the flip side. Bishop Okoye, Bishop in Port Harcourt. For people who know about the Civil War, Port Harcourt fell early in the Civil War, so he was a bishop without a parish.
Yeah.
It did not deter him. At a time of great need, difficulty, a lot of people were running out looking for themselves and their own immediate families. He picked up young girls and founded a ministry. Based on what? Based on love. Because for all of us who profess Christ, perhaps sometimes we need to take a step back and see what it means to actually live the life of a Christian. So it is in that sense that, I will say I have had a lot of admiration for the Daughters of Divine Love.
Thank you.
You have continued to carry out your mission. The vision of Bishop Okoye is alive and well in your ministry. So, Biko Jidenu Nkunuji, like KK said, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
And this goes also to show the self-help that normally is necessary, even at a time of conflict. Because I understand that a lot of the missionaries, some of the missionaries left town because of the conflict, and we don't blame some of the people who decided to go home. In the middle of a conflict.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will have to find a solution to their problem. And that goes to, again, express the need for us to look inward for solutions for problems that we have. It is not always that those outside can come to your help. I mean, there were churches, the Presbyterian churches from Canada that helped us. There were Scandinavian churches that helped us. The World Council of Church that helped us. The Catholic Church, of course. But again, here is an example of an indigenous
solution
that began in the middle of a crisis, and have continued that ministry beyond their immediate environment to actually take it to the African diaspora and those who live in Europe, all across the world. So this is something that, just like you said, Mazi Obasi, like a mustard seed that have brought great fruit. And so we thank you all who have continued to nurture and to actually live out that vision. And hopefully, many more will see many more fruits of your labor. And again, to our listeners, I will echo what everybody has said. This is actually the time to give to the work of God. And you've seen the women who are involved, the women of integrity, and the work they're doing is too big for them to carry alone. And so we ask everybody in the community, even if you can't make it to the event, to go to the website, go to their Facebook site, and donate. $10 goes a lot, you know. And again, the outreach you have in Haiti, how did it begin? And how is that going?
Before you answer, you're listening to WGHC 98.3 FM, your voice, your music, your station. And if listeners on the WGHC app, if you want to join us for a conversation, you could call us if you want to join this conversation on 773-942-7167, or you could actually leave us your comments on Facebook, and we will we will look at whatever your information is. And if you want to hear yourself on radio, like I said, call 773-942-7167. And if you call us on the radio, turn down your radio so that we can hear you clearly. We're talking to the Daughters of Divine Love. We're talking to two holy sisters representing the Daughters of Divine Love, who are talking to us today about their mission all over the world, all around the globe. These two sisters are part of the order that are based in Chicago. And also on the 5th of May, that's a Saturday coming up, they have a luncheon to be able to do some fundraising for their, actually it's a fundraising, not a luncheon, for their program and their ministry all across the globe. And you are dearly invited. It's at the Belvedere Chateau in Palos Hills in Illinois. And the ticket is $50 for adults and $25 for kids 12 years and under. So please join us. You will get to see culture. You will actually get to see the sisters dance. If you don't know that nuns dance,
come and see.
Come and see. Come and see America Wonder.
There you go. There you go.
So
yes.
Before I had the break, I think Mazio Delga was asking about your mission in Haiti. Mazio Delga, you want to phrase it better?
I think he was just going to say, could they talk a little bit about the Haitian mission, how it was set up, how it is going, especially through all the difficulty that Haiti has gone through.
With the earthquake and the multiple changes in government.
Yes. The Bishop of Port-au-Paix was the person that talked with our authorities in Nigeria requesting for help, because there were some Canadian sisters that worked in that school and in the clinic but had left 20 years before his request. So the school wasn't functioning, the clinic wasn't functioning, and he needed it, and he specified they do not have the money to do that, so they are requesting for help. So our authorities also requested the sisters, saying that they know the place is a hard place to go. That's why they are not going to post anybody just like that. They want to ask people to volunteer to go. So 3 sisters, many volunteered, but 3 out of those that volunteered were sent. And they came, and it was difficult to start, but they started, they continued. And it has been very difficult, but people have been coming up with one type of help or another. We do write projects for them and sometimes get them some money. Group of people here do come and make donations, even to pay school fees for children they've never seen in Haiti. But they contribute money for their school fees and some of their school needs and even some of the food they eat there in Haiti.
So it was a call for a volunteer service to pick up a service that had been dormant for 20 years,
Yes.
and you have revived it.
Yes.
It's not thriving where you want, but it's getting there.
Yes.
That's
And not
wonderful.
just Haiti alone, even our other missions in Caribbean was also a volunteered mission.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not.
Where in
they
the
really-
Caribbean? Is it a vacation spot in the Caribbean?
Cozumel.
Yeah, like
No.
those of them in Cuba, Jamaica, they also volunteered so that
Yes.
when they go there, they work with with
Yes.
every disposition needed.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
and just to
So,
dispel anybody who's listening to me and thinking, oh, vacation spots, you were saying before, and I want to underscore that point, that these are in the rural areas.
Yes.
It's not the vacation pictures that
Yeah.
everybody sees. This is
No.
in the heart where the real people live.
Yes. Where there is the most need, where there is poverty and deprivation. So, yes. Well,
So much more than, I mean, I know money is always great because it's easy to carry, it's easy to exchange. What other things do you need?
And the sisters, like when they come over to America, sometimes they say, if you have any children's clothing and things like that, we do give them. Sometimes people might collect things to give, but the means of taking it to that
Transportation,
place
the shipping.
is too much. So they
It's
just take
it's best to give money than you could be able to get the stuff locally
Yes,
and not have
yes.
to transport and worry about that.
yes,
And once again, the place to donate, if you're not close enough to come to the Palos Hills event, is www.ddldev.org. So it's Daughters of Divine Love, DDL, Daughters of Divine Love, DEV for divine.org. So please donate as much as possible.
so I wanted to. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead, sister. Go ahead.
One important aspect we seem to be missing out is that those of us in the formation houses also need sponsors. We are doing this work, but I tell you that we need more hands. We need to train more sisters so that this mission of love will not die, that it will continue. And so we have our sisters or our aspirants and the postulancy and the novitiates, and they need sponsors. So if anyone is interested in picking up, at least in training a sister, the person can let us know. We will send the person the requirements.
Okay. So because that actually opens the door to the question I wanted to ask. How are you guys taking care of yourselves in Chicago? Because, like I said, we all live in America. It comes down to dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Everybody has bills to pay. Where do the sisters live? Who provides the accommodation? How do you have enough money to even feed yourselves before looking at the bigger mission? Can you speak a little bit to that?
okay. We live in different parishes.
Okay.
We live in a convent built by the diocese or the parish. It is their property. So we rent it and we live there and we pay rent
Okay.
to them, to the parishes. And the way we get money is that some of our sisters that work in school or in hospital get their stipend or salary, depending on as the case may be.
Yes.
So from whatever they get, that's where we get money to feed, to pay our rent, to travel, to do everything, personal things and the things that concern the congregation. So, no matter how few there are that get such money, then we depend on that. And that is why sometimes a sister will be due to go home to Nigeria for vacation in a year, but she cannot go because the transportation money is not enough. It cannot reach everybody. So for that person, such persons cannot not go until it will be deferred to another year for that person.
Until we can raise enough funds for transportation.
Yes.
And some of us who are students, we work and study
Yes.
to be able to take care of our bills.
Yes, because I know that one of the things, especially our Nigerian sisters are very well known for, is academic endeavor. I hope them sister na aga ha akwụkwọ. So yes, yes, I can see the challenges. I really can see the challenges. Yes,
and oftentimes people don't see that.
Yes.
You know, and it's interesting what you shared. So think about it that maybe 20-30% of the sisters go to work, so they can't bring home group health insurance for everybody.
yes,
Because if you're the one working, you're the only one who is covered by
Insurance.
that's
Yes,
right. So,
yes.
and I know at some point that your order was thinking of centralizing having your own convent. Is there still a plan for you to have so that you can bring everybody together in one place?
Actually, not to bring everybody in one place, but at least to have a place that we accommodate some of the sisters and we'll be able to take care of the needs of our sisters. Like now if we have a sister that is not capable of doing this or doing that, if we have such a place, sister will be taken care of in the convent
Yes.
instead of just staying in one of the homes with Medicaid and you are not taking good care of there. So it is still in our plan. It is still our wish. We are still wishing for that to happen. It has not happened.
So this fundraising might be the beginning of that effort, right?
Yes.
If you raise enough money, you
We
can then
pray.
buy your own convent.
Honestly.
Sure. we are eager to get somewhere that we will call our
Our
home
home.
A
Yes.
in
regional
Chicago,
house.
our
Yes.
regional house in Chicago.
So Chicago and America, you hear the Sisters of Divine Love. They have put out a very passionate plea, and given all you heard about what they are doing, I think we also should help them out, because I can
Absolutely, yes.
and no buopi na efichi imi.
Yes.
This is saying, I mean, no onye lụa nyalie. So arụ ga-esife ike wherever they are, so they're able to continue to serve. And so we thank you all very much for taking time out to come to talk with us at Straight Talk. And so this is one of the services we're providing to the African diaspora community to highlight organizations, individuals, and people who are doing great work within especially within the American diaspora. So it's not all immigrants that are criminals, that are trying to defraud the government. There are many, 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 many immigrants or people who God had sent to the United States, like the Daughters of Divine Love, to help America and to help the global community. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
And you are listening to WGHC 98.3 FM. We have just about 1 minute to wrap this up, so I'll give the floor to the sisters. Anything else that you would like to share with 30 seconds to write it?
Yeah, okay. Like on one occasion, somebody had asked me, I wanted to make a donation, but I don't know. Do you people ever help people who are not Catholics? And I said, we are not Catholics in our ministry. We are children of God. Our ministry has no boundary for Jews, Gentiles, for Muslims, for Christians, for anybody. We serve every
Humanity.
God children.
Yes.
I And I want to say thank you for making our voices heard. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining the program. And from Mazi Okeo Kachikundubai,
Mazi Keke Odaluga Kachibon.
Mazi Ejika Obasi, it's been a very wonderful night. Day one.
WGHC 98.3 FM. Your voice, your music, your station. Follow us at Facebook.com.